Hey guys, you may be able to tell today that I am in Deer Park, Washington,
Welcome.
live with the two ladies here. Hi guys,
Hello. How are you?
good to see you.
You too.
You're looking good in your shades.
I
That
was
must
gonna
mean
say
it's
nice too.
pretty sunny.
It's sunny
Yeah.
finally. You remember last time when you said that you were gonna bring some sunshine our way?
I
Thank
brought
you for doing
sunshine.
The rates didn't do it, but he did.
Yeah, that's right. The rates are still kind of high. We're not going to talk too much about that today, but we are going to talk about the importance of the lender and the agent relationship. Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
We've had some fun encounters with that lately.
Oh, let's start there.
Well, there's obviously sometimes the misconception that you can get a better deal as a buyer by just going directly to the seller, especially when they see those lovely for sale by owners. But what they don't actually know is what happens behind the scenes. So when you have somebody who has been shopping for on the house or on the market houses, and then they go find one, and then they try to write their own contract, what happens?
Well, we have to learn what the job of the realtor is. It falls on a realtor to do a lot more than just writing a contract and then giving it to the lender. The lender needs a contract. However, you as a lender also utilize us as realtors to handle communication between escrow, title, other important entities within the contract.
Yes.
So it's important that a lender and a realtor have a good relationship because we're kind of the middlemen to everybody there.
And we're kind of the glue, I would say, that kind of keeps it together. And a lender that works with an agent well is really, really important. You need to be able to depend on your lender, that they're going to close on time, things of that nature. Communication, as you mentioned, Rozella, is kind of vital, so you know what's going on as things go forward.
Yeah.
Which actually brought my curiosity up just because, again, of this question coming about even more recently since the lovely settlement.
That's what it's called these days, the lovely settlement.
I don't know. I like to dress it up, church it up a little bit.
Check out the link in the video. We're going to go to that video if you want to go see it. Check it out.
So as a lender, I'm sure you've seen it where people will bring, deals to you that are not with an agent. Do you even like to touch those? Can you legally touch those? How do those even work?
Well, that's a good question. We do get those. We get them from for a sub owner, some two people that know each other working together. We can't make it work. We open escrow, we order title, we do those kinds of things. We can't negotiate for them. It's a vital role that you guys have, right? And I tell them right up front, don't expect us to do that. We can't fill out a purchase and sale agreement. I'm not licensed to be able to do that, those kinds of things. So some really critical aspects of the sale which are important, we can't touch. We can guide them in the process once they get together and figure it out. From then on, we're okay.
So we're not saying it can't be done. However, in the instance where if you do not have...
Do you like having to do the communicating and opening up escrow and title?
It's not a problem for us, but it really depends on the people we're dealing with, right?
Okay.
That it can be kind of challenging. And I heard some data, a statistic from the National Association of Realtors, and maybe you know this, that homes that are for sale by owner typically get a lower asking price, a lower closing price than if you use the agent. Is that correct?
Well, yeah.
I mean, it can be very true, yes, because oftentimes they're using some sort of third-party company or online platform to determine what the value of their home is, but oftentimes value can be missed or overpriced. I will say this too, so sometimes it can make somebody else end up overpaying where sometimes...
Not to talk about marketing, marketing is another crucial aspect for our job. It's our job to market your property. So when you hire a realtor, your property is no doubt going to be seen by a lot more people and a lot more eyes than if you aren't to hire a realtor. So more eyes is what you need, and then you'll get more, typically you'll get a better asking price.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people, when they go to find properties, they go talk to an agent who can go to the multiple and find properties for them. And that's where most properties are at.
I feel like for sale by owners, it's a great idea in theory. However, oftentimes you get that knee-jerk reaction where it's like, oh, I have a buyer, and they're just so eager that they actually found one that they're like willing to go under contract, but then they don't even know what they're going under contract for, essentially, which can be kind of a legal battle for either side, honestly, is the other.
Yeah, so back to your question, Rozella, that's the part that we really don't get mixed up with as a lender if there's two parties without a real estate agent. So once they come to terms, we have a purchase agreement, we can open escrow, we can order title, we can move forward from there. But that,
But you very much prefer utilizing a realtor
Yeah.
for that part.
a realtor
between
knows what they're
lending.
doing too.
Yeah, that's true.
There is that.
Yes.
That's true. All right. So, what are another reason it's important to have a good relationship between lender and realtor?
I would suggest to you that the communication piece kind of bleeds over to both the listing agent and the buying agent, because what we typically do is we'll get in touch with the listing agent after we have a contract that's been signed around with the buyer and the seller, and introduce ourselves and let them know who we are and everything, and communicate with them at least once a week, maybe more frequently as we go through the process. And then sometimes when you bump into a problem, it might be a low appraisal, it might be a delay caused by something and you're not going to quite close on time. That relationship is already established if you have a lender that's talking to the agents, both of them, and it's a lot easier to work through those problems typically.
Correct. Not only that, I do think it's important that if you have a good relationship with a lender you're working with, when our clients sometimes go a little, buying is a big emotional investment for certain clients. And so sometimes they make rash decisions and they don't always communicate. So it's nice when you have a lender that will call you and be like, hey, how did you hear? Do you know what's going, and be able to know, did you know they just bought 6 cars and they no longer can afford this house? Certain situations like that. So it's really great when you have a lender that you know and they can call and be like, hey, this is what's going on. I think that's important as well.
Yeah.
I think the final thing that I would add of why it's super important to have a good lender and a good agent representing you, and we've seen this quite a bit actually with this most recent year, is acquisition of properties are coming through like inheritance or, certain different stipulations. And then oftentimes these heirs are selling off the properties. Like I just had this conversation with another agent. And the property, it's a great property. It's been marketed really well through the MLS. It had multiple offers. And then it went under contract. And because it was under contract, then again, that goes back to how we then open up title, see what's there. If you have an agent who's done their job properly, they're going to make sure you get a free and clear title. And on this particular piece, the well that was with this property happened to be on the other parcel's property line. So then they had to go and get an easement. Most buyers and sellers are not even going to know where to begin, where to start, any of those things. For us, we're just like, oh, okay, that's not that big of a deal. Go apply for an easement, this, that, whatever. And so that guidance and direction that can come from the real estate agent, because we do this day in and day out, and the relationships that we have between title, escrow, lender, all the above, it then goes back to that communication component of we have the ability to navigate that process and work, where most buyers and sellers, this is not what they do. They have another job that they're doing. So therefore, timing of getting those things done can be delayed significantly.
Thought of another really, really good one.
Oh, yeah?
For example, in the turbulent industry of rates right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I think they just changed this week again or something like that.
Well, it came
on
down a little
Monday.
bit this week, but they're still
Yeah,
high.
so it's
And they are
really
turbulent.
important that your lender communicates, because if you're actively writing offers for a buyer, what they need as far as help from sellers for closing costs, anything like that, that might change from week to week. And you need that lender and you to communicate properly and to have a good relationship, so he could call you, she could call you and be like, so
Ask for
that
this.
offer you're writing this weekend, we're gonna have to ask for a couple of extra things. Or you're gonna be
Quite
calling
true.
and be like, hey, guess what, we have extra money to play with this
Yep,
week.
Yeah.
right. Yep, I would agree with both of those, and I can tell you stories on each of them. When I was with an agent, that there was a problem came up, and sometimes it's easier for the agent because they have the better knowledge and better tools than the loan officer to solve the problem. And I've gone to certain agents and go, well, that's kind of on you. You take care of it. And I go, well, but I'm not the best person for this, I really like an agent that's going to team up with me and work together to solve problems. And you're so right. Strategy up front is really, really important. How much the offer is going to be, and if you need seller contribution to closing costs to buy that rate down, it's vitally important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall general consensus is hire an agent and a lender that has good working relationships, mutually going either way. And if you don't have one, then ask for a recommendation. And that's always my favorite, is to recommend my favorite partnered lender.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I love working with you guys, as you know.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Enjoyed
you.
getting together with you today, especially in sunny Deer Park, Washington. It looks good over here.
It is. It's beautiful.
All right,
Come by
bye-bye.
a house.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.